See?
No.
Oh.
You gonna tape or you want me to? You're on the side. Okay. Go ahead, Sister Loa.
Hey, Cincinnati and tri-state area. This is Lady LaWanda Engelman, and you are listening to the Holy Rocker Show. Compliments of the best in urban gospel music. 1050 WGRI. Do it again.
You did
good. I almost had it. Okay, one more time.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Cincinnati and tri-state area. This is Lady LaWanda Engelman, and you are listening to the Holy Rocker Show. Compliments of the best in urban gospel music. Cincinnati's Inspiration 1050 WGRI. I did it!
Holy Rockettes, Grammys, FBZs, who else? And Tweety Babies. We are here at Inspiration 1050 WGRI, and we are interviewing Lady LaWanda Engelman. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but she's my best friend of like 21 years, and she has a book out. There is a CD release coming up. There's another book release coming up, and we are going to talk to her, get into her business. That some stuff y'all probably don't know, but some stuff I know, but y'all got to get this book, because I was almost in tears, especially the end, but we're going to get into all of that. So, if you can welcome with me Lady LaWanda Engelman. So, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited.
I am too. This is so nice.
Like this much. I just got more excited.
So, Carl Buchanan, he has allowed us to use his studio. And one thing that he said, that Lady Engelman is the first artist ever to set foot in the studio at the radio station.
This room.
Now that's big. That is big. So,
that's God.
So I have some questions here, ma'am.
Okay.
And now you did say I can ask you anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we have
to a point.
To a point. So we have like 6 pages. And
how long is this interview?
Well, we have like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, so now before I get into my questions, and it's probably, I'm probably gonna like repeat some of the questions, because you know we just talking, we gonna be ourselves, we chilling, you know. So when did the Lord tell you to write this book?
Well, it didn't start out as a book. At first, it was just a journal. So about the age of 11, I started journaling toward the book, and didn't really know that it was a book, but just journaling different things. It's just always been my way of speaking, because of a lot of things that I've been through. Being like middle child, I never had the opportunity to have somebody to talk to all the time right there in front of my face. So writing was a way that I released. And about the age of 11, I was called to, there was like this prayer line, we was at some type of prayer breakfast or something, and I was called up, and the person just said to me, write. God said write. So I didn't know if it meant write songs, write words, write whatever, but that's when I started like journaling toward the book. Somewhere around 2004, I believe. Yeah, so around 2004, I realized that it was a book, and I knew I wanted to call it Excerpts from the Heart, because it was from my heart. It was different things that had come about, and I didn't know how to really put it together, but I knew what I wanted to call it. So around that time, I started working toward the book, and I finished it around 2006. I don't want to get into all of that, because I don't know if you have more questions, about that. But around 2004, I realized that it was going to be a book.
So you were writing this book for like 20 years.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
Yes.
And you never stopped writing?
No, because it's my life. And that was one of the issues with getting it done and getting it out, is because every time I kept going back over it, there was still more, because it's always so much more going on. So I kept adding, I was taking away, and it just seemed like it was never going to get done. So at a point I just had to stop and leave it there, which, you know, got me to thinking there's going to be some more volumes to that. So talk about that.
Well, that sound, I want to read the rest. Okay, so I'm going to go to my list for some couple of things. So, tell me why Nacho Libre? Why is Nacho Libre one of your favorite movies?
Well, we can start here as the icebreaker. I know where you're going. Okay. Nacho Libre. Oh my goodness. But what, the movie is so funny. I mean, it's funny. Some people are not going to believe it's funny. We have another friend that does not believe this movie is funny. This movie is like one of the most funny movies I have ever seen in my life. It's hilarious.
It really is.
And I'm a comedy person. I love comedies, and I love slapstick comedy. I know that stuff probably would never happen, but it's just hilarious. So I don't know. That's just, you know, one of my little quirks. I like movies like that. I don't want to call them dumb movies, but they're really dumb. But I love those types of movies. So if you're out there and you're writing one, you know, I'll watch it.
Hey, she's an actress, you all.
Yes, Mr. Tyler Perry.
So,
How you doing, Mr. Tyler Perry?
Yes, Mr. Tyler Perry. For real, Mr. Tyler Perry, yes, get your life with Sister LaWanda. Sister LaWanda needs a part in a movie.
Or a play, or whatever else you're doing in life.
And I'm going to suggest that CeCe Winans also be in this movie.
My interview.
Okay, I'm just saying, CeCe Winans, I love you, I adore you. Since 1988, I am your biggest fan. I love you. So, okay, now we discussed about when you began to start writing this book. And I guess, well, I don't really think we kind of went over the purpose of you writing this. So what was the purpose of this book?
Well, first it was a way for me to release. I never really intended for it to actually be read by anybody else, because it was a part of my deliverance process, and I didn't know if I wanted to share that part of me at the time when I decided that I was going to start trying to put it into book form. I really didn't know what I want to do with it, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to do anything with it at that moment. But once I kept going and throughout the book, I was being delivered from different things, and God was showing me different things, and He gave me a heart for people who may have been in my shoes, who may have grown up the way that I did. And not saying I grew up like a horrible life. I actually had a pretty good life. I just dealt with a lot, you know, being young, and didn't really know how to deal with those things. And I realized that there are some other people that have come behind me, or even some people that are older than me who have gone through those things. And I kind of purposed in my heart then that I was gonna, you know, release it, because I wanted to show that, one, you're not by yourself. Two, there is deliverance for any situation, any circumstance. If you're willing to turn it over, you can be delivered from it. And three, somebody will be willing to tell it, and tell it all, regardless to how people are going to look at you or what they're going to think about you. Somebody is going to be willing to tell it. Somebody's got to be willing to tell it. So that was kind of my purpose, just to help uplift, encourage, and be there for anybody who might find themselves in my shoes, or who are in my shoes, or who have been in my shoes at any point in their life. Because
I noticed, like, as far as church, and, you know, the church we grew up in, it's a lot of don't say anything, don't tell nobody, don't. I've even been told, you just praise them, and just shout over, just shout, and praise, and, you know, everything will be fine. But that's not the thing, because when you begin to shout, the problem is still there.
Right.
When you end the shout, the problem is still there. So, I mean, for you, as well, I know you wrote, and that was your release, but at some point in your life, did you ever, like, reach out to anybody, like, when you couldn't handle the pressure and the writing wasn't getting it all out.
Oh yeah, there was plenty times where I would reach out, but reach out in my own way, because you got to keep in mind a lot of these things happen. I was a child, you know, so I didn't really have meaningful relationships probably until my early, you know, teens or late teens. 16, 17, 18, 19, around that time is where I started meeting people, but and where I was willing to open up. So I was a child, and I didn't really know how to reach out. A lot of the things that were happening in my life, and I don't know if you have it later, but we'll just go ahead and talk about it. I was being molested most of those years. So when it's happening, and it's happening from people that are close to you, you really don't know who to turn to.
Right.
So all I had was my writing and finding God. But at that age, you know, my understanding of God and turning it over to God was totally different than my understanding is now. So all I could do was go to church, and I was just hearing the, you know, don't tell it alls, and the, you know, if you say, then people might look at you a different way, all while contending with, if I say this could break some things wide open, you know, in my life and my family, people around me. It could just break things wide open. I didn't know what the response would be, so I didn't know how to deal with it. So many times I reached out, but most of the time I just stayed within myself, because I kept hearing the different things, don't say it or don't talk, and then it wasn't talked about. So there was nobody standing over the pulpit saying, hey, if this is happening to you, come and talk to me, or hey, if you find yourself in a situation, go and talk to so and so. Nobody was a poster child for it, you know. At that time it was more so keep it behind closed doors, you know. Whatever you need is in the house, just turn it over to the Lord. Well, if you don't know how to do that, then you're kind of stuck, you know, by yourself. So I'm thankful that I had my creative way to write, and that was not my deliverance, but it was a way that I could get it out, because it's got to come up to come out. So that was the best way that I had at that point, because like I said, there was no poster children standing up telling you where to go, who to talk to at that time. So my purpose is I'm gonna say it, you know, and I'm gonna let you know there's help. You know, you just got to be able to find it. And if I can help point you to it by telling you my story, then that's what I'm going to do.
Now, in your book, Excerpts from the Heart, you speak about the bad image you had of men, and that in church, God is normally introduced as a man. I had that issue too, and not as a spirit. And you voiced that this was a hard thing for you to accept. So how did you overcome not looking at God as a man, but looking at him as God, the spirit that he was?